American President, rather the ringmaster, Donald J. Trump has announced to impose additional tariffs, rather penalties on India for not halting its trade with Russia. If he follows through on his promise, India is looking at four different variety of tariffs. This is Ramesh Khan and you're watching Fact Sheet TV, where we'll bring you latest from around the globe with an exclusive focus on Asia. American President Donald J. Trump recently took to his social media platform Truth Social to announce that he would be imposing India with new tariffs for not stopping their trade with Russia. But what kind of tariffs is India looking at were not disclosed. Given the position that American government has taken over the course of past 2 months, we know that there are four different variety of tariffs that India might be threatened with. We are going to grade you down in no specific order. So the first tariff that we already know of is the 10% tariff that America has threatened to impose on all the BRICS members. Now the reason for that is simple. America feels that BRICS threaten the America's dominance on the world by trying to bring a new reserve currency. So it's 10% for all the members, and India is a key member of BRICS bloc. The second tariff on India is first the 200% tariff as announced by the American government, which earlier was 250% on all the drugs coming into America. Now, not exclusive to India, but all the drugs coming into America. And India is a major exporter of generic drugs to America, which means that if such a tariff is imposed, India will be hit very badly. Now, we're not going towards the secondary tariff on Russia. So the third tariff that we're looking at is the tariff on the smartphones coming in from India, exclusively the iPhones coming in from India produced by Foxconn. Now, we're not talking about some $1 million worth of iPhones being produced in India. Just between March and May, India had exported $3.2 billion worth of iPhones to America. So the number is astronomical. So the fourth tariff that we already know of, the much talked about tariff, is the tariff that America had announced to impose on all the trading partners of Russia if Russia didn't stop the war. First, the initial deadline given was 50 days, which was moved back to 12 days. So we don't know when this tariff would be imposed, but given that 24 hours deadline has been given on India, which means that India would exclusively be hit with the secondary tariffs for trading with Russia. If America, that means their president, follows through on his promise, or rather acts on his word. So we are looking at 100% tariff. And it's not some conjuncturing. American government had already made it public that they will be imposing 100% tariff on all the trading partners of Russia. At this point in time, it seems that India is exclusively in crosshairs as Donald Trump is out to set an example of the Modi government. So what is the overall equation between India and Russia? And where does Russia stand vis-a-vis this trade tariff standoff? Russia has taken a bad hit. Their month-on-month export of oil has declined by 27%, went down from 13 odd billion to 9.88 billion in the month of July. Their overall exports have fallen by 18.5%. So which means that the exporting nations have reduced their purchases. And India, of all the countries, is importing 70% of the oil coming out of Russia, which accounts for their 35 to 40% of needs. Some country, either it's Turkey or it's China or it's India, have tapered down their purchases. And it's not that India is not ready to give up, because India is ready to fall back in line, but on the issue of divesting in the shorter span of time is where India and America are having a friction. Because as we know that refineries just cannot be moved from one variety of oil to another variety of oil. It takes time. They are set to refine the oil that comes out of Russia. Other than oil and weapons, India is pretty much ready to give up on all its previous positions, which was to not allow America a free access to its market. The recent interview given to CNBC by the American President Donald J. Trump sort of lifts the veil of that. He has already announced that if India offers 0% tariff to him, which they would, without divesting from Russia, it would not cut it, which means that somehow American president have been given the assurance that they will allow 0% tariff of all the American goods into Indian market. And we know this was a big flashpoint between the two countries, as India was saying for the longest time that they will not allow the American goods, especially dairy and agriculture, to enter into Indian market, as it would jeopardize the livelihood of 700 million people associated with these two businesses and with these two fields. So the last unresolved issue between the two countries is the time that India is seeking to divest, to move away from Russian oil. As moving away almost immediately not only poses a threat to India's security needs, but to the oil prices around the globe. It might push the world to 2022 situation when the oil prices were in excess of $130 a barrel. So India purchasing oil from Russia is crucial, apparently, for the entire world and for the oil market to remain stable. Will America accord India the kind of concession that it is needing, it is desiring from the Trump government? Or will it continue with its path on setting an example out of the Modi government? That is only for the time to tell. This is Ramiz Khan and you were watching Fact Sheet TV. If you like this video, please give it a like and a share.